UTS Coaches Show. We come to you here yet again at Kathy's Tavern and Grill. We're on the north side of the downtown historic Pulaski Square. Happy New Year from all of us here at Pulaski and Pulaski Citizen and Pulaski Citizen Live. Wade Neely here, Trent Maxwell there. Trent, hope you had a good break. I know I did. All of us at Pulaski Citizen Live, we are ready for a big, exciting new year. We're ready to kick off another great season of Firehawk athletics.
Yes, sir. I'm ready to roll. Had a great new year. Great time being able to go home with the family. Spend a lot of times resting, laying around. Recovering our voices from how much we talked over the month of December. How many did we end up getting?
41 ball games.
41 games. That is a miraculous month, and we're just going to keep adding to that for the rest of the year. It's been a pleasure, being able to work with you guys. I love every minute of it, and like you said, we stay busy with it, don't we?
Absolutely, and we took a little bit of a hiatus to kind of just take a quick break from, but for here going forward, every Monday night, Kathy's Tavern and Grill on the north side of the downtown historic Pulaski Square is your destination, 6 p.m. every Monday. Here tonight, we've got a special show. Trent and I are going to break down what happened over the Christmas break, kind of walk you guys through everything there. And then a little bit later tonight, we've talked about the men and women's bowling programs here at UT Southern, and we figured, who else than the legendary man himself, Mr. Bob Learn, head coach of the Firehawks, will join us coming up a little bit later. Hayden Stippick is also in the house tonight.
Yeah, we had to bring on the celebrity, We got to bring on Mr. 300 to show everybody, exactly what goes on in UT Southern Athletics. So I know we're ready to get that rolling and get into our bowling talk. It's
going to be a fun show tonight. Reminder, folks, we're presented each and every single Monday night by the fine folks at Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. And if you're not here at Kathy's Tavern every Monday night, again, 6 p.m., come on down. Make yourself at home. You can grab a bite to eat. You can grab a quick drink. You can come join us every Monday night going forward. We have got a stacked and packed show here tonight, and we're just going to dive right into it, Trent. A little bit different equipment setup for those that have been sneak peeking, a lot of our broadcasts. Scott Stewart is up in Spring Hill tonight. Giles County is getting set to take on the Spring Hill Raiders tonight up on the road. And then tomorrow night, Richland will host Collinwood in a big showdown. That game also on Pulaski Citizen Live. So Trent and I are here. And Trent, let's just kind of dive right in. UT Southern, not a lot of sports action over the break, but there were a couple of big games. And then in the few days after the new year, basketball has really kind of gotten off flying right back into their conference schedule.
Yeah, hot and running. There was really not much of a, they had a couple weeks break. Can't even say a couple weeks, more like, 7-day break from their final game into the game that they had on New Year's. They came right back after the Christmas break, and, both the Lady Firehawks and the Firehawks started off hot with a big win on New Year's Eve. The women's team was able to go to Talladega and pick up a big revenge win where they lost a tight one, lost by 5 to Talladega at the Curry Athletic Center. But they were able to pick up a big 65-39 win at Talladega. And in that, TK Goff was able to lead the Firehawks with 17 points. And also 3 other Firehawks were scoring. Crazy to have so many people in double digits. And that was with Mary Mackey with 11, Sydney Cooper with 12, and Destiny Newman with 11. So a bunch of Firehawks all hitting on the same – hitting all cylinders and rolling well right now. Going into the next 2 games, they took 2 tough road losses to Pikeville and Shawnee State, but they've kind of been plagued with the injury bug right now. All that were in the rotation that have came up with injuries that are kind of substantial, going to have them out for multiple weeks, not knowing an exact recovery time of when these girls will get back to health. So we're hoping for their recovery, to get back in so all the girls will be able to, keep building on the stride that they just hit right at New Year's.
As they continue to kind of flip the calendar, man, I just continue to be blown away by how rigorous the conference schedule is. And Bob will speak to us, the head coach of the men's bowling program, a little bit later. Same goes for all sports, really, but basketball, you just cannot have a night where you can catch your breath. And they jumped right back into it with big games over the weekend as they took on Pikeville on Thursday and then had matchups on Saturday versus Shawnee State.
Yeah, there was no time to breathe at all. Like you said, going into every night, that you're going to have to bring your A game or, a blowout is going to happen either way. It's going to be everybody has to be clicking, everybody has to be doing their job, or you're going to come home with a loss. And it's just known from everybody. Everybody knows there's no telling what team. Nobody in our conference yet has been able to just go ahead and set themselves up to be the top runner, the lead team, and that's because everybody is playing at such a high level and beating everybody here and there. So our girls are right there in the mix of it, and I'm sure they'll be able to fight through this adversity they've had hit them here recently and keep going.
Glance at the men's program now.
Yes, sir.
I'm just quickly glancing at the score from Saturday, and wow, you go on the road, Shawnee State. We know how tough they are. You know, they won the national championship 2 years ago, and the Firehawks came up just shy, 68-70. Hard-fought game in a hostile environment. We would have liked to win, but to me, just looking at it at a glance, signs of encouragement as the team goes forward. You go and play a really tough team on the road like that.
Yeah, Shawnee, you know, they won the national championship 2 years ago. They've stayed at the, you know, the same play level, the same group of guys. They, you know, had a couple guys graduate here and there, but with the COVID year, it seems like everybody's staying around longer. You know, yeah, I know you remember back when you were there. There's those guys on certain teams that you see. When is this guy going to finally graduate? And now it seems like that's just times 10 because it's more than one guy. It's, you know, their best player, their second best player, sometimes their third best player are playing 4 and 5 seasons with the team, and that's just tough. And the chemistry with Shawnee State, like you said, they're running it up every game. They're playing well, so it was great to see our guys be able to fight through that game and stick with it. Also, on another note, Adarian Hudson became the Firehawks' all-time leading scorer right before the New Year's. We haven't been able to actually say that on live, so congrats to Adarian on doing that. And a game on New Year's, they were at Reinhardt. I'm going to backtrack a little bit just because we had an amazing turnout, which is crazy on New Year's. You don't expect to see that many people in the crowd. Big crowd, very tight game, and Kavion Hancock hits a big step-back three with like 2.4 seconds left to put the Firehawks up 3 and seal the deal for them. It was a back-and-forth game. It was great to see. Brady Brown had 21 points, I believe, and 14 rebounds, so he had kind of got a little snub not getting Player of the Week because we only had one game. A very tough snub for him not getting Player of the Week for the conference. But overall, the men's team is rolling pretty well. They're sitting right there in the middle of the pack, just like the women's, you know, getting ready for that late season push.
Yep, and they got 2 big games coming up this week. They got Thursday night, Wilberforce,
the newcomers,
newcomers in the league in the Mid-South, already take them on the road. You got them coming up again Thursday night, coming up at home, and then Saturday. Really a massive schedule across the board for the Firehawks, but a huge basketball doubleheader. Thomas More comes to town. We're really trying to get a big crowd in the CAC on Saturday. 2 really good ball clubs coming to Pulaski this weekend.
Yeah, both teams coming in. Wilberforce is, you know, new to the league, new to playing in this conference. They're learning how rough the conference really is that they joined, and they're still, you know, they're fighting just like everybody else. They know what they have to do. But then going to Thomas More, that's going to be a game that we need the fans to be packed in there, stacked in there. You know, everybody's just getting back, so it's time to get, with everybody just now being back on campus, it'd be great to see all the students out to support our Firehawks.
Ain't no doubt about it. Trent, anything we missed? I know it was, even on the weeks we were gone, there was still a lot going on the campus, and I was keeping up with you guys on social media, and we obviously were keeping tabs on it from the Pulaski Citizen. And UT Southern continues to just be booming. There's always something going on campus.
Yeah, they're always doing something. You know, today was first day back with the classes, so it was nice to see the faces of the students again. It's been a long break, you know, sitting around not seeing many people that you know. So it's nice to get everything back rolling and moving well with that. So I know all of our students and the athletes are ready to get back in their classes and get back going full pace with the sports just, you know, kicking up right here to wrap up. And you know, one thing I've been begging Coach T-Rob to get out here, you know, trying to get him out here to talk. And I was talking with him earlier in the week, and he said it's too soon. It's too soon. And I'm going to just keep holding him to that he will actually one day show up and talk. You know, we had to beg Coach Watson to do it. We didn't have to beg Coach Bob Learn, though.
No.
He was ready for it. When we called his number, he was ready to roll.
He was sitting on G waiting on O.
Yes, he was.
As they say. So, speaking of, without further ado, we're going to take a real quick break. 300. Bob Learn is the head coach of your Firehawk men's bowling program. Had a tremendous start to the early portion of their schedule, and they are jumping right back into it, just like we've talked about with basketball. They're getting right back into it this weekend up in the Chicago area. So we're going to take a quick break. Bob will join us. We've got Hayden to follow after him. And this is the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show, live from Kathy's Tavern each and every single Monday night. And we are presented by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. We're back right after this. So you click that. Did I click it once? Okay, you did.
No, I didn't.
Maybe just turn it off just real quick, then just hold it down.
Oh, yeah, it's still on. I'll just hold it down for a second. Oh, nope. Oh, this is going to hold down for a minute.
Yeah, the worst part about bowling on TV is they have these wired through your shirt, and then you got your pack here, and it's like you feel it, throw it on your body, and the whole thing is like. When you're blue, you're ready to go. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey.
Trying to get some chairs.
Here, for a guy that's been on TV a lot, he's struggling with these really fancy and sophisticated microphones that we have here at Pulaski Citizen Live. But we're excited. We want to remind you folks, you are watching the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show, presented each and every single Monday night live from Kathy's Tavern and Grill by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. I'm Wade Neely. That's Trent Maxwell. He is Mr. 300. He is Bob Learn Jr. He is in his 6th season as the head coach of the Firehawk men's bowling program. And Coach Learn, without further ado, first of all, welcome. Trent was kind of hyping you up a minute ago. We've had fall calendar to bring you on, and it didn't take much begging. We appreciate you joining us here tonight. How you doing, my friend?
Well, after 6 years, I know the way here, so.
You're a familiar face around the place, and we're so delighted to have you. And Trent and I have discussed a lot about the success that you guys have had in the early portion of the season, but there's really only so much that we can kind of, especially because we haven't been at the event. So that's why we wanted to bring you on and kind of touch. But if you could, just give the listeners, give the fans an idea of how the fall season has kind of gone thus far and where we kind of stack up heading into spring this year.
Well, the women got off to a really good start. They won 4 out of the first 5 events, finishing second in their 5th. So super strong start for the women. And the men, our worst finish all year. Of a big first and second place finish there. So we find ourselves both up in the top 5, 6 in the nation right now. So right where we want to be going into our push toward a national.
We were speaking about before we went on live was, the conference championships, whether it's regular season or postseason, you guys here in the last, we have 6 since in all years you've been here, you've at least captured one of those, and then with the women's the last 2 years we've captured them. How do you keep your players just going to push to keep growing on that? How do you just is that what you look for? Like, what is the thing you look for in recruiting these athletes coming in to keep that mindset of what is expected from the Firehawk bowling team?
Well, I mean, first of all, we do a lot of practice. They work hard. They have to travel for our practices, so they really are dedicated players. Passion is what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
You can't get them off the lanes. You have to remove them from the lanes. They want to spend as much time as they can working, and we educate. I have a pretty strong background in the coaching side of it, not just as a player at one time, but with the Team USA program and whatnot. I get to really fill in some blanks for them, and they're eager to learn. They work hard, and because we have, I think, this real connection with one another, it works really well. We have a really close-knit family, if you will, and we're all there to work hard and get it done. We have a lot of talent, and a lot of people will come up to us and kind of get in my ear. They're like, "Where did you find that person?" Like, where did they come from? But the fact that I travel a lot when I'm not with the kids allows me to find a lot of good talent. So we've been successful in being able to bring that together, and I think that's really the recipe. We've got just a real passionate group of players. They want to at least get to the professional level. I know Hayden will have in here in a second why that's his ambition, is to be professional. And you look at college sports. You have high school, and you bring them in from high school level, but that's the gap, right? You got professional. It's the only thing in between there is collegiate. So giving them what they're looking for and spending time with them to grow them. And you got 4 years, that's a long time to make it happen.
Absolutely. We're talking with Bob Learn Jr. He is the Firehawk bowling head coach, men's bowling and women's bowling, off to a fantastic start this season. And Coach Learn, I guess just 2 questions. I'll save the second one, I guess, but you just mentioned a great point. How has the path or trajectory to become a professional bowler changed, if at all, with the rise of collegiate bowling? Is that impacted it one way or the other in your estimation?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, you see a lot more players coming from collegiate out on tour. Back when I started, there was hardly any collegiate programs, and in the past decade, we've seen a huge rise in new programs opening at the college level. In fact, it was the fastest growing sport in college. So, yeah, you've seen a lot happen on that front, and that's why I got involved. I was in the coaching department at our governing body, and I was part of the Team USA program, and I knew what was going on in collegiate bowling, and I wanted to be part of it. So that's why I looked for a place that I thought was a good place to start, a place that wasn't built yet, kind of needed to be built, and that was the challenge, is be able to see if we could make it work here, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to switch gears a little bit with this next question. So what do we have in the near future coming up for the bowling teams? What are the next few big events that you guys are heading into?
Well, Chicago is a big Tier 1 event. There will be 80 colleges there competing this next week, so that's a huge one. And, honestly, if we can win that event, we could go right to number 1 this season. So that's kind of a cool thing, and I think we have a lot going for us coming out of the big events in Las Vegas. The following weekend, we're going to be in Louisville for our final regular season event, and it's actually a doubleheader, and then we go into conference championships after that. So we have the Hoosier, which is the only other event after the Chicago, and Indianapolis, which is yet another one that has 80 teams. So these are huge events coming up. So we're going to be working even harder. Nationals.
Absolutely. And want to remind you guys, every Monday night here at Kathy's Tavern, 6 p.m. is the place to be. Trent and I are here every Monday night bringing you all of the best of UT Southern Athletics, as this is the Firehawk Coaches Show presented by Tycon Excavating and Cardin Distributing. Coach Learn, second question I wanted to ask you about was you kind of touched on your practice facility. And during my time at formerly Martin Methodist, Guy Schaefer, who's a good friend of our program, he and I got to go up there and spend some time with you guys, and we were just blown away that literally the technology, if you will, of bowling was a concept that really I was oblivious to. And I'm just curious if you could speak to just how impressive a facility is that you guys have there in Columbia to practice at.
Well, it is impressive. The ownership there have done a lot to the center. They've invested a lot, and part of that was helping us get Specto, which is what I think you're referring to, and there's a lot of technology there to where we can really grow our players. It shows us everything that we need to see, and to see how consistent they are at their ball speeds, their releases, rev rates, angles. Everything is there and available to us, and they have, like I said, they raised a lot of the funding for us. So we're very blessed to have that kind of a partnership.
And I know that was a big thing a couple years ago in terms of recruiting. Just how big of a draw is that when you go to a recruit and say, not only are we going to compete at a high level, but we're going to practice at a high level, which could potentially, impact somebody like Hayden who's got professional ambitions down the road. Yeah,
there's nothing that we can't do, at Tempin then that we can't, we anything that he needs to get better is available to us. So that's huge. You can't ask for more than to have a facility that really bends over backwards for us. Any lane pattern I want out, anything we ask of them, they comply. So it's a really great partnership.
We've enjoyed it, and we certainly have enjoyed talking to you. And Coach Lerner, I just got to simply ask you a quick question. When was your last 300 off the top of your head? Go.
Last year.
Okay, fair enough.
All
Okay,
right.
I didn't know if there's so many. I just didn't know if you had them committed to memory like that.
Just a week ago was last year, so yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So I knew it wasn't probably too long,
Right.
but I just wanted to put you on the spot there. Coach Learn, anything we missed? Anything you want to shout out? We've kind of hit on the schedule. We've hit on recruiting and the facility. You guys continue to just impress, and I think this is a sport that it's on the rise, obviously. But I think even folks in Pulaski don't realize the quality of a program that we have here.
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of success, like I said, and being UT didn't hurt, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's quite a nice draw for a lot of kids that are looking for higher education. They're like, University of Tennessee has a program, And we are the only program in the University of Tennessee network, right? So, yeah, we definitely have gotten more interest since that point, but also build off of some of our earlier successes. So, it's exciting. It really is to see where it was when we got here and where we're at. And the only thing we're missing now is that national title. We have a runner-up 2 years ago, and that was a heartbreaker. We had a missed opportunity, to say the least. Last year, I thought we had a stronger team, and we came up short, and we had most of those players with us this year. So this time, we're going to the finish line.
Absolutely. Coach Learn, we're excited for you. We're rooting for the team. Obviously, we're looking forward to keep up with you guys. Best of luck the rest of this year, and thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
That is Bob Learn Jr., ladies and gentlemen. 6th season as the Firehawk Bowling head coach. And on the other side of this timeout, we'll speak with one of our senior standouts. Hayden Stippick will join us on the other side of this break, as this is the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show presented by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. Trent and I will be right back with Hayden right after this.
Thank you, guys.
Sweet, thank you.
I'm still struggling at least with the wire. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he
You're hot. Just clip that onto your neck.
All right, folks, we're back here. We are at Kathy's Tavern yet again. It's Monday night after a 2-week hiatus. Hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas. Hope you guys had a Happy New Year. Trent and I have returned. It's the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show presented every Monday night by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. And we took a little bit longer break because Trent and I were having fun. We were catching up with our next guest, Hayden Stippick, off air. We were also chatting with men's bowling head coach Bob Learn Jr. off air. And Hayden, first of all, welcome into the show. Coach has kind of been
Thanks for having
singing the praises of the program, and you've been around the program, a senior now from Erie, Pennsylvania. Just want to kind of get your immediate take on how the fall season went thus far with you guys for the Firehawks.
Overall, it went pretty well. I mean, we had our ups and downs, I think, early on. It's just relating to team chemistry. You know, we're coming back. You know, we're trying to see where people fit in and see if, you know, just where everyone wants to be. And then in Vegas, we did real well, taking one out of the 2 Tier 1s. It was a good trip out to Vegas.
Always a good trip to Vegas, but
Yes.
when you win a tournament, obviously it's a
makes
little
it
bit
even better.
better.
Makes
Guy
it even
Schaefer's
better.
winking at me off camera. He knows what I'm talking about. So, Hayden, as a senior on the team, I guess an immediate question for me, you hear a lot about senior leadership and motivation and topics like that. I'm curious, how does that look in your particular sport? What are some things that you are trying to take on as a senior leader to help build the next group of Firehawks?
Just kind of mentality, right? Just being confident. You know, it's for some of the younger kids, it's definitely daunting going up there in your first college tournament or even first year. It can be tough, but it's just relaxing and just understanding it's a long year and it's a long tournament. You have to be ready all the time, and just being confident is the main thing. Just having a good mentality between tournaments, because it is a long year, and when it's going good, it's going great. But when you're down, it can really hurt the team and everybody else.
Yeah, and with you sitting here talking, you seem like, you know, you've got that senior mojo, that mindset of being calm, cool, and relaxed. How are you able to, you know, relay that down to the younger guys going in, you know, and to be able, you know, when they do have a bad frame, when they do have something come up that affects them mentally, how are you able to, you know, step in as a senior leader and, you know, help them get through that?
It is tough to teach mentality. I think that's the toughest thing in bowling is teaching mentality, but just taking it one shot at a time. You can't hit the panic button at all, because the second you hit the panic button, your weekend is over, and it could last for multiple weeks. And just being able to honestly use it as a learning experience when it's going bad, and just move on. Just get it out of your head immediately.
Talking about Hayden Stippick, one of your seniors on the Firehawk bowling program. By the way, UT Southern's back in action this weekend. Big tournament up in Illinois, right outside Chicago there. One of their final 2 regular season events. And Hayden, I guess that's another question. You've blinked a little bit, and the season is not only almost over, but you're a senior. Have you kind of had a chance to maybe soak all that in? Is that something you think about as you go to a lot of these tournaments throughout the year?
Not really. No, it's just kind of take it a tournament at a time, another day at the office. It's, you know, at nationals, obviously it'll probably hit me then, but right now we're still in go time and just getting ready for every upcoming event and just being ready.
I like that. Laser focus, locked in. I love that. Kind of shifting gears a touch, though. The cool thing for me about some of these sports we see, clay target and bowling, especially the 2 that jump out to mind. You guys have a great golf, I guess, a little bit. You have a chance to compete individually as well, and you had a great performance at the USBC team trials, also out in Vegas, right?
Yep.
Over the holiday season. Just kind of as simply as you could, kind of break things down, kind of let us know how you did and where things maybe potentially look for you individually going forward.
So it's a week-long tournament. We bowl on 5 different patterns, and we swap times too. So one of the tougher parts was bowling early the first day, and then not touching a bowling ball for another 26 hours until 3 o'clock. Overall, I finished 12th. It was a good week. I only had really 1 hiccup day, and that was day 2. But other than that, it was a good week, and it was just out there, especially, it's all points based. So you can't necessarily have a bad day, or if you have a bad day, you have to recover from it, and I did that pretty well. And it was a good week, you know, competing against, you know, the best pros that were there, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And could you tell us something like you've gained while coming back from these trials? Like, what was your favorite thing to learn from it? Was it the experience? Was it being able to go head to head with these guys?
I think it was being able to go head to head, just kind of a measuring stick of, you know, where I'm at. And after this week, I felt really good, just knowing that, I can compete with these guys right now, you know. And actually, at the end of this month, I'm doing the U.S. Open, which is a pro stop. So that's all the professionals. That's the best of the best. So it's another nice little measuring stick to see exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, and not jumping over the end of your season here, but like we've talked about, you said you're wanting to go pro. What are the next steps? Going into that.
Well, first I'm probably gonna take a little break, just kind of relax at the end of this year, and just really get my mind focused on that. And it's a lot of work. I mean, it's countless hours in a bowling center, just making sure that you're ready, and which is fine with me. And again, trials was a good measuring stick, and the U.S. Open is another good one coming up here. So after that, we'll see where we go.
As you get ready to lock in, we mentioned the 2 final regular season events, and then you've got straight into the Mid-South Conference Championships, obviously expecting or hoping for a good run at Nationals. Does the focus of the team, are you sensing already in these first couple days back on campus, things kind of ratcheting up a little bit?
Yeah, I think right now everyone's happy to see each other again.
Uh-huh.
So today was a little more relaxed and just kind of getting back in the swing of things at practice. But tomorrow and every day after, we're going to be focused and pretty much ready to go.
Looking forward to it. We're looking forward to a great season for you guys. And Hayden, any other final shout-outs or any other mentions you want to give before you sign off here?
No, I think we about covered it all. I'm good with it.
Well, we certainly thank you for your time. You've been a fantastic guest, and we appreciate you joining us tonight. And best of luck both with the team and individually going forward, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. Hayden Stipik joining us here on the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show. What a great show we've had here tonight. And Trent and I are going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we will sign it off. And reminder, folks, our show each and every single Monday night for the remainder of the Firehawk calendar is live from Kathy's Tavern, 6 p.m. on the north end of the downtown historic Pulaski Square. You can come down, you can grab a drink. You can come down, you can grab one of their world-famous burgers. And Hayden had one of the burgers before we got on air, too. He knows all about that. So he gave us the double thumbs up just a moment ago. And reminder, we are presented each and every single Monday by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. Final segment after this here on Pulaski Citizen Live. All right, folks, we're back. Trent Maxwell to my left, Wayne Neely sitting in the saddle. Guy Schaefer's behind the scenes tonight, and Scott Stewart is on the road up in Spring Hill. Busy week on Pulaski Citizen Live. You are watching the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show. Monday nights is the place to be here at Kathy's Tavern and Grill on the north side of the historic Pulaski Square. And we're presented each and every single Monday by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. Trent, what a great segment we had with Bob Learn and then Hayden Stipik. These guys, yeah, they like to have fun. They like to be relaxed a little bit. But, man, they are locked in.
Yeah.
And you can tell that bowling, it kind of gets a little bit of a weird reputation.
Yeah.
But this is a sport, like Bob said, is continuing to. You know, Vanderbilt, for the longest time, that was their only national championship. Routed off a couple there. So this is a sport on the rise, and it's really cool and exciting to see such a successful program right here in our backyard.
Yeah, and the fact that he said that Coach Learn said that blew my mind was we are the only UT system to have a team. So that we're being able to funnel athletes that, if the big college, if the UTK was, to have bowlers, we're funneling them in here. So that's great to see. Great to know that, another reason why the UT brand has helped out, the community and the college so much. It's great to see that. Like you said, it's great to learn more about bowling. I don't know much about bowling. I thought it was, more of a kind of like, golf used to be seen as a club sport, as something to do just, as a relaxing time. But I don't know about you, but those guys were pretty serious over here. They were pretty dead set on what they're doing. It doesn't seem like, the game's still got to be fun to them, but I don't think I would enjoy bowling with them. I don't think I would have a good time at all if I was matched up side by side, lane by lane, going head-to-head with those guys right there.
All I'm going to say is when Guy and I went up there a couple years ago, they were installing that Specto technology that Bob spoke about. That stuff is the real deal. It's kind of like Huddle or Synergy for basketball, where they are getting real-time data sent straight to their phone like 10 seconds after the shot.
Yeah.
And it's not just, oh, you made a strike, oh, you made a spare, like you see on the screens. It is detailed with the oil patterns, and Bob kind of got into it a little bit there, but it is a massive piece of technology that a lot of NAI programs, probably not even a lot of Division I programs, have access to, and it's just right up the road.
Yeah.
We don't have a facility here in Pulaski, but we have a tremendous facility right up the road in Columbia.
Yeah, 10-pin alley, like you said, they put the money into it. It's been renovated. It's set up.
And you're a Columbia guy. You remember, I went there a few times. It was not the greatest for a long time there, but that place is popping these days.
Yeah, it has completely changed the whole aspect of that. It's mainly in Columbia. There's not much nightlife. There's not many things to do. As a younger kid going up, even once you get your driver's license, there's really nothing to do. But the bowling alley was always the spot that we would go to. And now, let me tell you, you drive by on a Friday night and you're not getting in. But it's crazy to see how well that facility is being able to tailor towards our athletes to help them out also, as long as them growing in an entertainment side also. So it is great seeing that. So lucky to have that, blessed to be able to have a facility like that for our athletes to keep going. And I guess that shows by the performance of our athletes we've had in the last 6 years, since Coach Learn has taken over. And it's great to see, and it's just, like you said, they're going to just keep growing and keep grinding on what they have until he brings home that national championship, which, did we get a promise of it almost? Could you, in my thing, it was close to a promise coming from him, about as close as we could get.
He was pretty dead set, and you could tell. And we've seen teams over the years. Last year's team he mentioned, maybe the most talented team we've ever had.
Yeah.
But sometimes the tournaments just don't go your way. We've seen it with women's soccer, seen it with men's basketball over the years. Some of your better teams run up against a hot team, have a bad day, whatever the case may be. And that's how slippery of a slope that can be when you get into postseason. So it will be fun. It will be exciting to see them. The women are performing at a very high level as well. His coach, Holbrook, but also his wife, Stacy, is involved heavily with that program. And that's been a long time building as well. So it'll be fun and exciting to watch and see what the bowling program has in store. Trent, what did we miss? I know we've got a busy week here on Pulaski Citizen Live, but we mentioned the Firehawk basketball games.
Basketball games,
Bowling is in action on Saturday, or over the weekend, I should say. And also looks like swimming.
Swim team, we need to get Coach Christina in here to talk about the swim team sometime. I know she's got a little bit of a drive, but it would be good to get her in here sometime to talk, because we don't know much about swimming. It's kind of hard to be able. The stats that we get in are kind of crazy. You'll be like, okay, he got this, he had this time, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of hard to just, pick and decipher. So we need to get somebody who actually knows about swimming that can tell us, explain to us a little bit more in depth, and tell us actually what's really going on so we can understand and relay the message for those athletes.
Yes, we will plan to do that. They're in action up in Kentucky this weekend. So you got bowling in action in Illinois. You got Kentucky is where swimming and diving is going to be on Saturday. And then in the CAC, big matchup on Thursday versus Wilberforce. But again, as we've touched on many times on this show, you can't have a bad night versus a league team. And that will be a tough one on Thursday, but a really fun doubleheader coming up Saturday versus Thomas More.
Thomas More is going to be fun. Thursday will be a big game. Thomas More always in the top 25, it seems like, both men's and women. So it will be a showcase event whenever they're in town. So we're ready to get rolling with that.
Looking forward to it, folks. And again, as we sign off, this show was filmed and aired at Kathy's Tavern every Monday night at 6 p.m., presented by Tycon Excavating and Carden Distributing. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Richland is at home versus Collinwood on our PCL Mixler channel. Coming up on Friday, you have Giles County is opening up their district season on the road at Lewis County over there in Hohenwald. Richland is up in your neck of the woods, going up to Hampshire on Friday. That's going to be a fun doubleheader. And then we're right back here next Monday. Busy time. We had a little bit of a break and kind of got the juices recharged, and now we're ready to rock and roll, my friend.
We got our voices back, and now we're going to be running full speed again.
Absolutely. And you had a birthday over the
Yes,
break,
sir.
my friend.
Older.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
A little wiser. You look a
Maybe.
little more
I hope so.
distinguished. So, Trent Maxwell, thank you so much, my friend. We'll see you real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Thanks for Trent Maxwell. Thanks to Bob Learn Jr. And also thanks to Hayden Stippick for joining us. I'm Wade Neely saying so long. This has been the UT Southern Firehawk Coaches Show, presented here each and every single Monday night at Kathy's Tavern by Tycon Excavating and Carton Distributing. Good night, and we'll see you next week.